Good morning, YouTube. Happy New Year to everybody. God bless you all. And for all of you guys that showed up today to go to work, good for you. It's going to give you a head start. For the rest that are still, dealing with the aftermath of the party. But I wanted to get on here and kick off my year by making our onboarding announcement for final expense leads. Last year, our focus was Medicare final expense, ACA. And with everything that happened with Medicare and the whole new guidelines, we decided that we weren't going to onboard no more Medicare centers and just keep the customers we had then. And if we lost it, we weren't interested in, gaining more. Simply because, again, of how much regulation is involved with selling Medicare these days over the telephone. And it's a good thing, but it makes it challenging for agents as well as marketing companies to get approvals. It can be, tough as well as challenging because the rules can change, in a given moment. And that hurt us and it hurt a bunch of people last year. But this year is going to be 100% final expense. Whether it's inbound, where, customers are going to our websites, requesting this information, filling out their information for final expense. We're going to be generating, selling, as well as buying from documented companies that have this type of lead because we're in the business. But also transfers. Transfers are an amazing strategy that I've used for years to really better our lead quality. And I'll give you guys an example of that. With an inbound, there's no agent involved. So once the customer initiates the call, it's the customer and you, the receiving party, in this case, the agent. Then you give them the information, the presentation, and the quotes. With the transfer system, what happens is we gather that lead, or if that inbound is not ready for a transfer, we take that information and we call that person back. And when they're ready, we transfer it to you, the agent. Now, when is that? Sometimes people call into a TV commercial today and they're not ready to talk to you about a quote. In fact, their objection is send me something in the mail, email me something, text me something, because I'm at work right now, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, or I'm at the doctor's, or I'm at home watching a show. That exists. But a transfer, when you have someone involved, whether overseas or onshore, their number one job really is to identify that they truly want a final expense insurance quote and information. And if they say yes, well, ladies and gentlemen, that's a lead. That's a great starting point for you as a life insurance agent to talk to somebody that wants to talk to you about final expense. Do they want to buy? No, but they're interested in receiving a quote and receiving information. If they wanted to buy, I'd be sending those leads to our employee agents that get paid by the hour to take those orders. But these people are looking for that information. So this year, I am onboarding centers to help us with that. My goal is to build my agency in 2023, hire agents, show them how to sell insurance virtually the right way, how to sell, how to close, and also how to maintain that business paying. And for us, personally speaking, I've been talking about final expense telesales for over 10 years. I've worked for many carriers over the years, and I'm lucky to say that I don't owe them no money. They owe me money in terms of renewals. But I've worked through every step that the carriers asked. This is before COVID-19. So, when all these haters talk crap about telesales, they talk bad about me, they seem to forget that over all these years, we've had to prove ourselves to the insurance carrier. No nonsense type of people. It's either yes or no. Are you writing the business that's staying on the books? Is it quality business? Are your customers complaining about you? And the reality has been that after thousands of customers, our retention has spoke for itself. And we've been talking about that for years. But it took time for the carriers to believe in telesales, as well as me and my team. And that's not easy, especially when you're dealing with something like telesales that was really negative for many people up until COVID. But once COVID hit, it proved to everybody that didn't believe in telesales that it could be done, but it also showed that persistency levels didn't get affected that much, like all these haters would say. So we understand what it takes to sell the product. We understand how to generate the leads. But again, what I'm looking to do is onboarding centers that can help us with our transfer strategy. And the goal for this video here this morning is to show all of you guys, whether onshore, nearshore, offshore, this opportunity is for you. And I'm going to go through a couple slides that I prepared for all of you that will go down into details, except for what I'll pay you for the lead. But we're going to talk about the details of my campaign and what I require in terms of our transfer system. So with that said, let me go ahead and share my screen. And again, these are the guidelines, ladies and gentlemen, for this is better. Now, these are the guidelines, again, for all companies, centers that want to come on board and help us with our live transfer system. I want you guys to take a closer look at it before I break this down. In the meantime, I'll answer some text messages here. But first, the first 100 leads that we order is a test order. This is where we're going to check your work. We're going to see if you're following the guidelines. And in the first 100, I can determine if your marketing center, whether in Pakistan, Manila, Philippines, Florida, Colombia, we'll be able to see if you're following, because my team goes through each and one of these 100 calls and checks personally, making sure that you're following the rules. But that first order of 100, we pay that on a weekly net 7. So what we do from Monday to Friday is paid the following Friday, as long as we got no issues in terms of what we ask that you follow in terms of our guidelines. If you're sending us DNC calls, we're not paying that, or we'll have to come up with a different concession. And that's been fair. But once you've gone through that test of 100, from that point forward, then all orders are paid up front. Now, we're selling our live transfers $55, $65. If there's volume, we give our customers a discount. Our lead generation appointment, we're charging $20 to $25, again, on volume discount. But all of these orders are paid up front. You would have to sign an agreement with us that covers all these points, as well as the prepaid arrangement. And then we get into raw data. This is a do not call. If you're going to cold call people, or maybe you're going to buy age leads that a lot of you guys do. You guys buy age leads, age Jornaya, but these leads have passed the 90-day window of TCPA guidelines. So now you got to treat it as raw data. These states here are DNC states, okay, that have their own do not call registry. So we have the national, then we have the statewide. And as you notice, Colorado, Florida, Indiana, Louisiana, Massachusetts, Mississippi, Missouri, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Texas, and Wyoming, each of these states, if you're currently calling on a raw data and you're only checking the national do not call registry, that's a big no-no, because these states have their own state registry. So you got to check with the state as well as the national. So if you're calling on raw data, you do not call in these states here unless you can prove to me that you have the registry for each and every one of these, because currently we don't have a tool available for all of you that does. So if you're doing raw data, stay out of these states for compliance reasons. Do not dial if you're calling on raw data. Doesn't matter, again, if the data that you have is age data. If it's over 90 days old, you got to treat it as raw data, and you got to check with the DNC. It's very clear. The DNC tool, Aperion, is the only tool that I will approve at this point in time for the lead generation that you provide to my company. It's the only one. There is no exceptions. And I know that there is a lot of centers that don't have this 100%. You can get yourself a free Aperion account, and I'll show you. But you can check 10 numbers an hour. And if your quality control team is doing that, well, this is where they would get it done. And let me share with you guys a couple examples of that, okay, of what I mean. Here is a recent company that I've contracted. And this is their procedure that, again, they have to email me because this is part of our agreement. This is their procedures. They purchased DNC scrubbed raw data or opted in age data. All campaign data, including opt-in data, will be put through our process by their quality control team. And obviously they take responsibility for that. But here's how they go ahead and scrub with the DNC instructions. And look, they're going to look for national do not call and state do not call. So this company has the ability to check in those states that we don't want them to call, but they have a way to check. DMA do not call. Also, they check for any lone litigators. But I will highlight that as long as you're following the rules of DNC and TCPA, litigator lists are worthless, because any litigator that submits a frivolous lawsuit is really just creating problems for themselves, because they can easily, be sued in return for harassing people on frivolous lawsuits. So, it doesn't do much, but this company checks for that. And here are the bullet points that they're going through, as well as the process step by step with their agents, their subcontractors, because they do not want to make a violation. So again, DNC tool has to be with us, Aperion. There's no exceptions unless you can prove that you have your own mechanism that's 100%. You must follow our scripting system for transfers and lead gen. Now, Our transfer system is our #1 lead program, but we have so many of those leads every day that we do generate lead generation. So the agent is sending transfers as well as lead gen. For the test, that is, you'll do a lead gen sample following this script. You must follow this script 100%. I will not pay a center if they're adding phrases like, complimenting people, doing it over the board, telling people, for example, if the person lives in Hawaii, I got a person in the Philippines talking about how they love Hawaii or how they love California, and this person has never even been there, and they're not being truthful. That's all fabricated rapport. We don't care about that. I don't want that. These people are given an offer to receive a quote, yes or no. There's no gimmicks, and we don't want to be adding this extra verbiage or complimenting people on their age or telling seniors that they sound good for their age. All this stuff that maybe in other countries is appropriate, that doesn't go good with American folk because it sounds fake, it's not genuine. But I'll tell you, if you follow this script 100%, this is what I'll pay you for. 100%, no excuse. All opt-in data has to be provided within 90 days from the day that the customer opted in. Very important. Because a lot of you guys, when you call and ask me, how much for a live transfer system, following the system that you have, but I have opt-in data because I have landing pages, I have Facebook ads running, I got SEO, etc., then I will take all that, but every single one of those live transfers has to come with the opt-in date of when it was originated. Because if any of those opt-in leads are 91 days older or older, and they are on the do not call registry, then we pick up a DNC violation. So again, if you have opt-in data, you want to send me transfers using our transfer setup, using that opt-in data, that is fine, but every single lead will have to be confirmed with their opt-in date. Again, the date that they opted in. So if this lead called in Friday of last week, and your transfer company and your agents called the lead today on a Monday and transferred it to any of my customers or me, then the lead with the recording will come with that opt-in information. No opt-in information, no payment, and it opens up the violations for DNC if that was an invalid lead. A lot of companies out there, they say they're working this type of opt-in lead. It's very expensive to do. And unfortunately, what they're charging is peanuts. So right off the top, it's a lot of money what we charge for this type of transfer. That's again $55 to $65 for opted in, live calls, inbound traffic is expensive. Again, if you're going to offer us opt-in data, then we need the information, no ifs nor buts. And lastly, all of our transfers must be recorded, no ifs, no buts, for compliance reasons. The transfers and appointments, they must provide all recordings. And for all centers that are dialing on raw numbers, that are only checking on DNC because they're not doing opt-in, you are not allowed to use avatar, robo dialing, You must be using single line systems with a person at the end of every single one of those lines. A lot of centers, unfortunately, they are able to generate lots of volume, but they are using avatar that's illegal when you're calling on DNC raw data. You cannot use avatar, robo-dialing, press one campaigns on people that didn't opt in for information. Now, if Ms. Jones opted in on TV, radio, Facebook, internet, well, in their opt-in, they're giving you permission to use a robo-dialer or an avatar. That's fine, but they gave you permission. In this case, if you're calling on raw data, again, you cannot call on these 12 states because they have their own DNC checking system. You must use our DNC tool, Aperion, no exceptions. You got to follow our scripting system. 0 avatar, 0 robot, 0 press one. Again, I can't emphasize that enough. And really, ladies and gentlemen, in the first 100 leads that we run as a test, the reason we pay on a weekly net 7 on this first 100 is because we have to physically check. My team does, I do, and make sure that every single one of those audio clips is in compliance with what we've asked you before we even roll it out to our customers. The first 100 tells us a lot about an agency that's generating leads. And for all of you guys that are looking to buy leads, I hope this helps you see the back of what it is that we do to provide leads to agents. You know, as an agent myself, it's crucial to have good leads on a daily basis in order to write business. Here's an example of a new center that sent me over some recordings that they're going through. They've sent me over 14. They got to send me 100. Okay. I'll pull a random. I'll check for name, phone number, state, age. They set the callback time because these people were not transferred. These are clean on the DNC, so none of these came back on the national do not call. And let me share with you guys now an audio clip of, again, the importance of following the script, because our customers expect this in order for them to have consistency in their buying of leads every week and their sales every week. It's the consistency that matters, and you got to build that confidence. So listen carefully to the agent follow the script, and the goal here is to have the agent follow word by word the script that has already been determined. And here we go.
Hey, my name is Dave Wilson. I'm calling you regarding your funeral insurance benefits. How are you doing today?
Pretty good.
Glad to know that. Well, due to coronavirus pandemic, most senior citizens prefer to receive their information and quotes on this low-cost funeral insurance plan 100% over the telephone. Would you like to receive this free funeral insurance quotes over the telephone today? It will only take a few minutes.
Okay.
Perfect. Now, may I know what is your current age?
52.
You said 52, right?
Yep.
Got that. You sound pretty young over the phone, by the way. God bless you.
Thank you.
And just to inform you, you're currently residing in the state of Florida, right?
Yep.
Perfect, ma'am. And now may I know how do you spell your first name?
Huh?
I said, may I know how do you say your first name?
VirtualFE. It's one word.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that. Can you spell that for me, your first name?
BEVE or LYFAYE.
And your last name?
ISBELL. Isabel.
All right, got that. Thank you so much, Miss Isabel. And I do have to inform you
Isabel,
that
there's no A in it.
Oh, thank you so much for that. Thank you. Okay, that's all from mine. I do have to inform you that the licensed insurance agent is going to ask you a few medical questions. All they will need is a simple yes or no to determine the level of benefits you qualify for. And due to HIPAA privacy rules, we are required to speak to the person who makes your medical and financial decisions. Would that be you?
Yep.
Great. And now for the maximum discounts, do you have a valid checking or saving account?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I said now for the maximum discounts, do you have a valid checking or saving account?
Yeah.
Perfect. Great. Now let me bring one of our specialists on the line. They will be able to answer any questions you have and share funeral insurance quote that's perfect for you in the next few minutes. Is that okay if I connect your call?
Yeah.
Great. So today is 17th of December. You will be transferred to our live insurance specialist about this final expense insurance quote using an automatic dialing system, even if your number is registered on federal, state, or local do not call list. Even given a callback and your consent is not required as a condition to purchase anything from us. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Please stay on the line while I connect your call. Here we go. Stay with me.
So once again, guys, this right here is the opt-in information that the agent requires.
Well, our agent is finishing up another appointment right now. Would tomorrow morning or afternoon be better for an agent to call you back with your information?
So now, there you saw that this agent followed the script almost 100%. That was a billable lead. Plus, they used no robo, no avatar, no press one campaigns, single line, agent, communicated. Also, the script is designed to really get the customer what they want. A quote for final expense, more information, and they need it in minutes. So that's why every single transfer, in this case, a transfer that was not transferred became a lead. So a customer would pay us $20 to $25 for this lead, then they would call them back. This lead is hot, 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 especially for the agents that have minimal states, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 states. This is a great lead. But the importance of following the script is really, no exception. Language barriers, no exception. I understand that every person has their own accent, every country has their own accent. I'm not concerned about that. But a language barrier where the customer can't make out what you're saying, regardless of your accent, is just not a no-go. And that would be obvious. The customer can't make out what you're saying, I'm not paying you for that lead. And the customer shouldn't have to pay you for that either. When centers ask me, well, what about objections? Are we allowed to maybe deal with some objections where customers are asking about prices or they're asking more questions? Well, any customer that asking questions is a good buying signal, but you as a center, you're not licensed or in a capacity to even be giving out any of that information. So you stick to the script and you always refer to that the agent will provide the information and go back to the script. Simple. You're not an agent. You don't need to be adding information that you don't know the information to anyways. And even if you did, you're not licensed to provide it. But you can just refer and say, you know what, Ms. Jones, that's a great question. And the licensed agent will answer all of those questions in the next few minutes. Move on and follow your script. It's simple, but some centers have a hard time with it because they want to add to it, because their goal is to close or sell that person on the appointment or on accepting this information. And that's not your job. Your job is to simply go through that script, ask them if they would like this information. If they say yes, provide the information. If they say no, you move on to the next person, because that is the value that we provide our customers, to provide them with people that truly want to talk to me and you, the agent, about some insurance. Now, one of the things I want to highlight is the reason I emphasize the DN tool Aperion is because it's accurate. And I want to give you guys an example of that. So here's some numbers that we got from another center. May of this year, again, as we were going through the testing phase. And you'll see the ones that say not good, okay? So take a look at these numbers, all right? So we got one, say 22, 23 numbers, of what we have a good 3 of them that are dirty, that are on the DNC list. This particular company was dialing on raw numbers, so they went ahead and dialed in this number. Well, this is the mechanism that a lot of centers are using overseas. And you guys can see this is a TCPA tool. And a lot of you guys are using this. And I'm sharing this not to bash anybody, but to show you how these other databases that a lot of you guys rely on, like blacklisted DB, suggest that this phone number is good. There's no issues. That's a major red flag. Litigators, that one comes up as a federal DNC. DNC suggests that this is a clean cell phone number. Social analytics suggests that on June 22nd, this number was associated with some TCPA complaint, maybe a lawsuit or a settlement. And then the rest of these suggest it's good. When we check with Aperion, and Aperion, it says is in the National Do Not Call Registry. So if we were to call this phone number under the premise that this was supposedly a good number, and this agency used the blacklisted group and they said it's good, but look at the other ones. The other ones also said it's good. It proves that a lot of these databases, ladies and gentlemen, they're not accurate. Here's another number. And again, I share this with you because one of these violations can cost you $40,000. No joke. In fact, last week, I won a DNC lawsuit for one of my agents' mom. She had a DNC violation, called me and asked me what to do. And I helped her figure it out. Think about that. See, what's that number? Within 8 hours, we had a settlement, cash settlement in her favor that I helped her figure out, guys. I mean, within 12 hours of the violation. You'll notice here, it's in the National Do Not. Let's go ahead and check out with this tool that a lot of centers are using. And again, what you're doing is you're putting the company at risk, you're putting yourself at risk, but more importantly, your customer. Your customer that's relying on you to deliver compliant leads, and your customer's dialing and doing everything he can as an agent. Okay, something's up with this little checker. Something to think about. And what do? Well, in this case, some of these centers have stepped in and handled it. It's been nice to see that. But what if the center's not in the capital position to make that money happen? I don't know why this is not. Let's check another number here. Well, that phone number is in the DNC. And for all of you guys that are using the system, I encourage you to try it. Hey, Mr. Gabriel, I'll call you right back. I'm doing a training session real quick, okay? Give me a few. So now, let's go ahead and check this out. See if maybe something. We'll check it over here now. This phone number is also in the DNC. For some reason, this little tool is not working. Maybe it's not letting me. Let me see one more time. Because I know a lot of you guys are using these type of tools and really relying on this. And again, I'm going to highlight that you're putting your customers at risk. You're not going to put us at risk, but I know your customers are at risk because they're not up to date with all this stuff. A lot of these agents, a lot of these carriers, unfortunately, are not training their people on this. They're very loose goose. That's why these litigators love this type of lawsuits, because they're easy to settle. Again, I just won that 6-figure lawsuit last week. Just making phone calls and showing these people they violated their rights. And within 12 hours, I had that money from my agent's mom. There we go. So here we go. Again, this phone number, 601, that we found that's not good. Here you go. There's a lawsuit potentially on the 29th of November. Let that sink in right there. Okay, this lead was generated on the 5th of May, the 17th of May. And according to the social analytics, there was a potential lawsuit on the 29th last month. The month of November. Litigators labeled it as DNC, but here's another popular one, was Blacklist DB. They said it was good to go. Look at these other ones. Good to go, good to go. Closers DNC, do not transfer. Again, if your DNC system is not accurate, okay? And we'll try this other number that we missed. Here, this one. If it's not accurate, ladies and gentlemen, you're really putting your company at risk. I can't emphasize that enough. And if you don't have 100,000 cash to settle something like this for your customer in hours, then it scales up real fast to a litigator real quick, because it goes to the insurance company. And then the insurance company has to take responsibility. It's not fun. I was talking to a carrier the other day, the president of a carrier, and they were talking to me about, they were $400,000 deep in a lawsuit for TCPA violation. Here we go again. Here's the number now. Litigators found it, blacklisted. No, it's good to go. the social analytics on the 4th of March, there was a possible lawsuit. But look at this, again, proven that Aperion is accurate. And I have cross-checked Aperion for months, well over a year now, and they have came through every time. So I hope that helped all of you guys really see what are the details of my campaign, what we require. If you can do this, follow every step that we've covered, then we can definitely go to work in 2023. You know, my carrier relationships as an agent of 18 years allows me to, you know, market my leads directly to them. And I'm happy to say that, you know, for the last 2 years, I've helped big groups out there with their lead system, with their training. I wasn't really focused on hiring agents personally. One, because a lot of the agents that I work with in agency needed the support from us and our team for training and leads. And we made money on that. But now, as I focus into 2023 and the next few years on the power of selling insurance and building Herrera Insurance Marketing's block of business, then it allows me to recruit more agents, provide financing for those agents, and in return, pay you, the centers, whether you're providing inbound or helping me with my transfer system, we will pay you up front for your efforts and your leads. But you must follow the criteria that you see here. And I really hope that this video helps all of you guys. Again, I get a lot of you hitting me up for details and want me to spend time with you. This video is designed for that, so that there's no miscommunication, there's no issues. So if you're interested, call me. And the first step is going to be to send you an order for 100. And I would give you the states where I want those at. We will also set a price for transfers, for appointments. And once we get through those first 100, then we can start moving forward with approved orders with more of our clientele, which are insurance carriers. And the biggest proposition that I provide to my clients is that, knock on wood, we have not had to lose a lawsuit for any of these issues. In all of the years that I have been selling leads and training others, we have had complaints, we have had threats, we've had demand letters, but we've never had I had to pay a lawsuit or a claim for a DNC or TCPA violation. Again, knock on wood. And we want to keep that record. And because of that reason, plus the fact that we've promoted it being insured for all these years, when most agencies have never even heard of it, has gained us a lot of business. And 2023 is just going to be a special year. I said a year of gratitude, of grace. But the customers that we have on board now are dead serious about final expense, as I am. So again, if you're watching this, you're looking for that long-term relationship, you've been calling me for months and I've just been too busy to talk to you. Hope this video helps you. Call me, send me a message, and we can set up a deal. Peace.